Okay, welcome back. I am Malevsky here. I'm out of the west side. This is our Dvar Torah for the day. Running commentary. Today is Rosh Chodesh Nisan. It is the first day of the month of Nisan. And this year, 5780. It's the month of miracles. Nisan, the word Nisan actually comes from the word Nes, which means miracle. So may we all witness a miraculous resolution and cure for those who need it. Moving on. So, the Rebbe never left Brooklyn, aside from approximately once where he went to visit a camp, a summer camp, where in 1957, maybe once or twice, I think it was only once, and he spoke to the children there, to the campers. It was a Chabad Gan Yisrael, Camp Gan Yisrael, and the Rebbe, the great Rebbe, talking to little children. What is he going to tell them? So really, the Rebbe spoke to children a few times a year in 770. There were rallies, children rallies, Lag BaOmer, and other times, maybe Hanukkah, I don't remember. But it's interesting to see how the Rebbe geared the talks to young children. And this is one of them. So we started off, these are just a few points of the Rebbe's talks in that 1957 summer camp. The Rebbe said that every Jew is called Yisrael, like the country. Yisrael is our name. It's also the name of the Hasidic master, the Baal Shem Tov. The first Hasidic master, the founder of the Hasidic movement. His name was Israel, and he represented the whole Jewish people in his approach and his teachings and his leadership, his guidance, his vision. And the Baal Shem Tov, Yisrael Baal Shem Tov taught, he related that when he was 5 years old, his already orphaned from his mother, and his father was on his deathbed when the Baal Shem Tov was 5. And his father told him, Yisrael, he left him with 2 pieces of advice, and he passed away. Yisrael, he said, you should fear no one but God. You do. Fear no one but God. And he also said you should love every Jew with the whole power, with the starkheit of your heart. No matter who he is, or where he is, or what situation he's in. Those 2 things. Fear no one and love every Jew completely with all the power you've got. The Baal Shem Tov said that these 2 messages led his life in the future, and all his teachings and guidance for the Jewish people. This is what motivated him and led him. So the Rebbe said, for us, obviously, the Baal Shem Tov told the story for us to learn a lesson from it, and we should do the same. Then the Rebbe went on and said, on one hand, it's easy to love another Jew because, a Jew is such a great miracle. And we're part of God. We've got a part of God inside ourselves. We have a soul. And by extension, of course, we're kind and we love everyone. But for this specific discussion, a Jew has a special soul, and you love every Jew. It's easy. But then the Rebbe said, along with that might come a feeling of haughtiness, because you know you're part of this special nation, the Jewish people, and we have so many advantages in our connection to God, a person might be haughty, might show conceit from it. And the Rebbe said, for this, there's a special teaching from this week's Torah portion. This portion is VAYIKRA. In VAYIKRA, we're starting the new book, the third book of Moses. There's Bereshit, Genesis, Shemot, Exodus, and now we're starting VAYIKRA, which is Leviticus. The first word of VAYIKRA means and he called. It says VAYIKRA el Moshe, and God called to Moses. Strangely enough, this is a question that the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, was approached by his grandson, who was at the time 3 years old. And he said, Zaidi, why is it that in the Torah, the word VAYIKRA is spelled, like I spelled it in the commentary, it's spelled with a small aleph. So all those letters, Vav, Yud, Kuf, Resh, in the first part of the word VAYIKRA are big, regular sized. But the aleph at the end is small. And he said that he answered, Alter Rebbe answered his grandson, that when God told Moses to write the word, and God called to Moses, Moses was feeling humble at the time. And he always was humble. And he was uncomfortable writing that God called Moses. So he wrote it, but he put a little aleph, one of the letters, very small, demonstrating his humility. And the Rebbe said, so too, Moses was the greatest leader of the Jewish people of all time. And he was humble, completely humble. And we could all be humble a little bit, like Moses. And the Rebbe continued talking to these campers and said, also, when we talk to another Jew, an interesting phenomenon where two people talking to each other, everybody has a body and a soul. The bodies and souls characteristics are very different. A body is selfish, just cares for itself. A soul cares for what God wants, and therefore it's able to include others in its domain, in its sphere, in its consciousness. So when we have two people, two Jews, talking to each other, you have effectively two souls working against one body, because you have the two Jews who are communicating, and they can unite and collaborate on the soul level. But the bodies don't care about each other, they just care about themselves. So it's two souls against one body. So the Rebbe advised also talking to another Jew about your struggles and being humble or worshiping God is a good idea. The Rebbe also said that since we're talking about God and our struggles, we always ask God for help, and we do that through prayer. And the Rebbe encouraged the children to not just pray without understanding what they're praying, but try to learn progressively some of the meanings of the prayers that we're praying. And especially, he says, in the Amidah. The Amidah is the main part of our prayer, otherwise known as the Shemona Esrei. And one of the blessings in the Amidah is we're asking God, we're asking God to grace us with wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, with Chabad. And the Rebbe said the foundational understanding from a wise perspective, from a wise point of view, is that we are not living in this world just to take care of ourselves and our physical needs and our bodies, our material needs. So the foundational understanding of a wise person is that we're here to serve a higher purpose. And therefore, as part of the request, we're asking God to bestow upon us this wisdom, that it should be felt that we're here to serve a higher purpose in our lives, are not limited to that which we see and want for ourselves. And then the Rebbe moved on and said one more thing. In our interaction with other people, he says Rebbe Rashab was 3 Rebbes ago. This Rebbe's father-in-law's father, and we call him Rebbe Rashab of Shalom Dover. He told one of his children, I forgot who it was, says the reason why we have 2 eyes, God bestowed upon us 2 eyes, not just one, was, he says, because there's a right eye and there's a left eye. The right eye represents kindness and benevolence and extending ourselves. The left eye represents judgment, restriction, the opposite, critique. And he said, the left eye is for a Jew or a person to look at themselves in a critical manner and ask themselves, what do I need to fix in my life? Where can I improve? That's what the left eye is for. Where am I? Where could I be? Or where should I be in my relationship with God and with others? And the right eye is the kind eye. Use only the right eye to look at another Jew or another person and see only the good in them. Because when you look at another person, train yourself to see only the good, only the positive, and your service to God and to men will be improved. That's the story for today. This was a 5-minute or 7-minute talk I heard from the Rebbe talking to campers in 1957, to campers in the summer camp of Gan Israel in upstate New York. And we should all be healthy and happy and share good news. Take care.